Hello, everybody. My name is Trevor Fry. I am a junior here at ISU, and last year I studied abroad in Bilbao, Spain. Just to talk about Bilbao, it is a city up north in the Basque country. I actually didn't know it existed until I went there myself. And I guess just real quick, the reason why I chose Bilbao was because I wanted to speak Spanish in Spain, and so I wanted to avoid like the big cities. I didn't want to go to Madrid or Barcelona just because I felt like I would be talking to Americans or just tourists in general and speaking a ton of English. And I really wanted to develop my Spanish, which I did. But anyway, my in Bilbao, it is the climate of Bilbao is very rainy at times, especially in the beginning of the spring. It got really beautiful in late March, early April until I left in May, and it was so yeah. The beginning few months were a little rough. It remained basically the same temperature for the most part. It was like I want to say between 50 and 60 degrees. I would say. It really didn't get that much colder. It snowed once, which was apparently very surprising. People there had a pretty shocked look on their face, which was funny to see. But yeah, and so that's the climate of Bilbao. As for the geography of it, it is completely surrounded by mountains, and I think that's the reason why it gets so much rain is because the Bay of Biscay is north of it, and the water goes over the mountains, and that's how I guess the rain works. I'm not exactly sure how it all works out, but I think that has something to do with why it rains so much over there. It's very much like Seattle, I guess, is the way to put it. But it's still a very beautiful city. The sun's out, it's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. But yeah, the city itself is actually very clean, which was one thing that really shocked me. It was cool because I was expecting like really big city. Because it was pretty big of a city. It was much bigger than normal, obviously. And about 300,000 people live there, I want to say. And there were always street cleaners, which was something that always kept me that always surprised me. Like no matter what time of the day too, it could be you could be walking home at 4 a.m. and there would be street cleaners out, which also goes into another point was that it was a really safe city. I never felt in danger there. I actually felt safer over there than I felt here in Normal, and I feel really safe here. But it's just I think it had to do with the street cleaners too, because even if you're walking home really late at night, there'll always be the cleaners outside, and I don't know. It just felt good to know that like people were out and still doing stuff, and if it didn't feel like any different time of the day, if that makes sense. But yeah, another interesting part about Bilbao is that it's bilingual. It's the official language of Bilbao is Spanish and Basque because it's in the Basque country, and the people there are very proud of their heritage. In the Basque country, they really so everywhere there the street signs it'll be Basque first and then Spanish underneath, which is something I was really surprised about. I didn't even know Basque was a language before I went there, but it was really cool to see, and yeah, as far as the locals go, they were really they're different. They're interesting to talk to. They weren't what I expected the typical Spaniard to be, and they didn't even consider themselves Spaniards. They considered themselves Basques. So so like your average Basque guy, they had like dreadlocks, earrings, piercings, and just a big beard. They looked really different from what I expected the average Spaniard to be. But they were really cool to talk to. I loved talking to them, and if they knew. If I expressed interest in them and I spoke Basque to them or something like that, they like loved you for it, which was something really. It was one of the best things I loved about the program. Honestly, it was amazing. And actually, in part of the program, I went with a company called ISA, and they were really cool. They were an affiliate program, and they were really nice because we were able to travel around Spain to visit other cities. So part of the program, we actually started off in Madrid. We didn't even land in Bilbao at first. We landed in Madrid and then went to Toledo and then drove to Bilbao together in a group. We ended up in a group of 12 kids, and that was really nice because that kind of like put us in a family of people. Because I think all of us went by ourselves, and to be a part of a group already right off the bat on the first day was something really special. We ended up and those are the people I ended up spending the most time with, or at least you'd like to start the night with them, or just go. Those are the people you talk to for the most part, I would say. Not to say that those are the only people I talk to, because I definitely made a ton of friends, both from America or Spain, or just other international students, because they were really a lot of international students in Bilbao too. They had something really cool called the Pincho Pote, which was like all the students would go out to these cafes and bars and just speak to each other in Spanish. All the international students, just to practice their Spanish, and it was really helpful. I really improved my Spanish over it. And as far as the classes go, they were also all in Spanish, which was really cool. And the teachers were really nice about it too. They didn't really, even when they spoke about really abstract ideas, you still kind of understood what was going on. And if you ever had any trouble, you could ask them in English and they could respond in English too. But definitely by the end of the semester, you were very comfortably speaking in Spanish, and it wasn't a problem. And I wouldn't be intimidated. So yeah, my advice is I wouldn't be intimidated by the language, even if you had trouble. If you're interested in speaking Spanish, you're totally fine there. But yeah, and as for my living conditions, I lived in an apartment with a host family, and they were really nice. They did just about everything for me. They cooked, cleaned, did my laundry, which was amazing. I wasn't expecting that. I felt really pampered, I guess, is the best way to put it. And they actually spoke zero English themselves. I lived with a host mom and her daughter, and the daughter spoke a little bit of English. She was learning, and I was actually helping her with that a little bit. But yeah, the host mom spoke zero Spanish, or zero English, sorry. And I would practice, I guess I'd have to practice speaking Spanish with her. It started off going, I remember the first day, she just like took me around the city, showed me everything, and I would just respond like, oh, see, you know, like, I didn't really know what to say. And by the end of the semester, I was very comfortably speaking to her in Spanish, and it was something really cool, you know, just to see that development in Spanish going. But yeah, as far as pricing goes, the program was basically the same price. Aside from the plane ticket there, it was the same price as ISU, especially if you're doing room and board. I know it'll be probably a little bit cheaper if you went as a junior or a senior, since you're not paying for room and board. But definitely it was about the same price, I would say. But yeah, it was Bilbao, Spain. It was a really cool program. I took mostly Gen Eds because I took 10 hours of Spanish and Spanish culture and Basque culture all in Spanish. And that actually got me a Spanish minor. I wasn't expecting it, but the way it played out, I got a Spanish minor out of it, which I was really... But yeah, not to say that's the only part, or the only classes that were taught there. There was also a really big business program in there. And I think that was actually run through ISU itself. I just didn't have the classes for it. I'm a psych major and I'm a Spanish minor, so that's why I ended up going with ISA. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope you check out Bilbao.